Businessman Professor Bonang Mohale, Vice Chancellor of the University of the Free State, Chair of the Bidvest Group, joining us on the line. Bonang, thank you very much. Were you hoping for details of this economic recovery plan?
Absolutely, especially because, my dear Francis, there are at least 4 plans on the table. One by Business for South Africa, another by National Treasury, the third by COSATU, and now we hear that Cabinet also wanted to develop their own plan over and above the ANC's Economic Transformation Committee. So we are absolutely ecstatic that the President has moved alert level 2 to alert level 1, but we want to say to the 59.3 million South Africans, remember, the virus does not know nor respect any alert level. It is still out there and indeed waiting for us.
Yeah.
Francis?
All right, so talking about the recovery plan, you mentioned several on the table. Apparently they have been amalgamated, but now it's stuck in Cabinet. Yes, maybe wanting to add their ideas. Is this dangerous? Because South Africa has been putting forward plan after plan after plan. Do we even need to reinvent the wheel? Because, again, it's about things we've known about for years. Eskom, energy, probably spectrum, maybe support for tourism. But could there be something fundamentally different this time around, or should we just start implementing the things that we know will work?
You have hit the nail on the head. We are emboldened by the fact that at NEDLEC, they have now agreed the 80-20 principle. What are the 20% of the things that we must do and do urgently with the singularity of purpose to give us the 80% of the benefits in order to have an outsized and oversized impact? And all of them have agreed that, number one, it must be a reinvestment in infrastructure. Number two, they've said, let's concentrate on the 4 industries and sectors where we have all agreed that they have the likeliest impact of bringing us back into the pre-COVID levels. It's manufacturing, it's information communications technology, and indeed it's tourism. So with the opening up of now international travel, I think this is truly fantastic news. But It doesn't mean that on the 1st of October, our flights are going to be booked, that our hotels are going to be full, because trust is now the new currency. We have to go back on the road and sell ourselves that with the strictest of health protocols, we are going to be able to look after these visitors, because we have had a lot of time to practice from alert level number 3 to alert level number 2 when we moved from intra-provincial travel to inter-provincial travel. And also, Francis, lastly, remember, South Africa has been hit the most by this COVID-19, because South Africa is one of those few countries that already had pre-existing conditions, these comorbidities. Therefore, it will take us at least 3 years to rebuild this economy to what it was before 2019, because probably in the last few months, all of us agreed that this year the economy, the whole year I'm talking about, is going to contract by at least 8%, when the second quarter contracted by 16.4% compared to the previous quarter, but year on year, compared to the same period last year, a whopping 51% contraction. So you can see that we are really in trouble, and indeed the spot of border.
Yeah, and one of the key things you mentioned there was this infrastructure plan. I've heard from some investment players saying that the money is there. People want to know the details. They want to invest. And what's your response to what Bonang Mohale was saying, UDM leader, that where is business? How are they going to be involved? I mean, what do you want the state to do for business to really get involved in that infrastructure plan?
Absolutely. I think business has a lot to offer and much is expected from it. Because business has a disproportionate resources, not only a disproportionate voice. Business has the projects, but also they have been preparing themselves in ensuring that they will survive this COVID-19. One, by ensuring that they are preserving and conserving cash. Number two, they are strengthening their balance sheet. Number three, that they are building not only how to survive in the short term and in the medium term, how do they build this much needed resilience, but also to bring long-term sustainability. Because honestly, I think after spending 787 billion preparing for the 2010 Soccer World Cup, all of those have now been reversed, one by the COVID, but most importantly by the state capture. So Francis, from business's point of view, I think business is ready to reinvest. All it needs is continued regulatory certainty and policy stability. As I end, Francis, first of all, I think to build confidence, to extend trust, and to give people hope, we need to go back and say, those people that stole money from us must go to jail.
Yeah.
We need to say, how do we continue to embark on deep structural reforms, because we can't avoid those anymore.
Bonang, let me throw in a final question, if you don't mind, because you've touched on something important, the corruption undermining the earlier stimulus package. And we've also had some very controversial decisions. For example, in the beginning, when we needed all the economic activity that was possibly safe, online sales were curtailed. Our earlier analyst and economist said there's no economic recovery plan that can work unless there's a cabinet reshuffle and a changing of the guard. What's your response to that?
I totally and absolutely agree. There is no way that we can just assume that we are going back to pre-COVID levels. We have witnessed the most amazing impunity and brazenness when some of the people who call themselves our leaders are stealing from the poor, the hungry, the sick and dying through this PPE. I think what we need to demand as South Africans is not just stimulating the economy, it's about ensuring that, one, we demand ethical leadership.
All right.
Number two, absolute transparency. And then lastly, what we want is this notion of final accountability.
All right. Thank you so much for your time tonight, Chair of Bidvest, Bonang Mohale.